Hi guys, welcome back to the Tech Diary. This is my second channel where I take forever to get to the point. However, I think today I might be getting to the point very quickly because I'm very excited. I've done something to my iPad Pro that's in here, which is exciting but equally a little bit scary, and this video could go anywhere basically. I'll come on to what I've done to it in a second. However, a very quick mention for this. This video isn't sponsored, by the way, but I do want to mention the Logitech Flip Folio, which is this thing here. It's basically what looks like a regular case for your iPad Pro and iPad Air, by the way, both sizes. But it is that, but it's not just that, because it has a keyboard built into it. So it's kind of stowable Bluetooth magnetic keyboard, which has a 2-year battery life. You can replace those batteries after 2 years, obviously. And it's just a really, really interesting take on an iPad case. So you basically open it like that, and you have a regular standable case for your iPad. But equally, if you want to get some work done, you whip that off and start typing away. And because of this, I've started using my iPad a bit more. I'm getting to the point now, guys. I'm starting to use the iPad a bit more, and then, lo and behold, WWDC 25 happens, and Apple says, they didn't say it in so many words, but basically, we're turning iPadOS kind of into the Mac, into macOS. It's getting the same window controls, better multitasking, a supercharged Files app and all this sort of stuff. And I watched that, having just started using this, and thought, this could finally be the thing that gets me to use the iPad more consistently, because I've always struggled with this. I'd love to know from you guys in the comments if you have had that same problem where you want to use the iPad regularly, but you just keep going back to your Mac or whatever else it is that you use as a regular computing device. Because the iPad, for as great as it is, I just struggle to find a use case for it. And I think the reason for that has always been because it's not the Mac. I want a touch screen Mac experience. That's what I want from the iPad. And it seems to be the way that Apple is going with iPadOS 26. So I've installed iPadOS 26 onto this iPad about 10 minutes ago. I've not looked at it. I've literally just turned it on, got as far as the login screen, and not done anything. So what I thought I'd do, it's just logged in, brilliant, is do a kind of live reaction for you guys. I'll record the screen. This is my iPad with all my stuff on it, so I do have to be careful not to show you things that I don't want you to see, like my address and my email inbox and all that sort of thing. So we'll show as much as we can, but I want to see if it's what I'm expecting and what I'm deeply hoping for. Now, this is the developer beta. I've never used a developer beta before, and I've heard a few horror stories about them in the past. And I know that iOS 26 on the iPhone, obviously, has been a bit of a... It's not been great for people, which is understandable. It's a brand new beta. I've not heard as bad things about iPadOS 26, so my hope is that it's relatively stable. But it's the first beta. You know, this is June 2025. We've only just heard about it last week, so I'm not going to moan if it starts crashing and stuff. But I just want to dig into it and see what it's like. So, firstly, the first thing I've noticed actually, if I don't use Face ID. How can I do this? Will this work? Excuse the very fingerprinty screen. Why isn't it giving me the... There we go. Right, don't do Face ID. So there is the... that's liquid glass. That's my first look at liquid glass on the numbers for the passcode, and it's very glass-like. It's very translucent. It looks quite nice. It looks a little bit like we're stepping back in time slightly, but we'll ignore that. I definitely won't show you my passcode, obviously, but now that I'm in here, let me start screen recording. Whoa, that looks different. Let me get this going so you can see it. Where are we? Screen record. 3, 2, 1. Bosh. Okay, here is the screen. Niall will throw this up on the video for you so you can see it very nicely. Okay, so it's... Yeah, so lots of people have talked about the inability to properly work out what's going on with this new liquid glass thing, and there's been lots of kind of marketing speak and kind of design speak from Apple in terms of why they've done this. I don't really buy any of that, to be honest. I think they've done this just because it looks cool. I know that John Gruber talked about this with his talk show from WWDC last week. He had Joanna Stern and Nilay Patel on, and they were talking about the fact that I think all three of them agreed that it just looks cool. You don't have to give us all this reasoning that we've done it because of the translucency of glass and it kind of draws you in. No, you've done it because it looks cool and it's overdue. Is it overdue? It's just time for a redesign, basically, like they did with iOS 7 back in, when was that? 2011, 10, whenever it was. So that's why they've done this, basically. It just looks cooler. However, as we can see here, so what I've done, basically, that's my home screen. The home screen looks okay, to be fair. That looks all right because... well, firstly, I've got a background which isn't an Apple background. That's a very good test for this, I think, because obviously their backgrounds for iPadOS 26 are designed to work very nicely with liquid glass. This one of this M2, by the way, driving around the Top Gear test track, which I went around in that car, not driving it, but as a passenger, with the original Stig, Ben Collins. I'll never forget that day. Anyway, that's what that photo's from. It's a very good example, I think, of what liquid glass looks like with your own background. It's not bad. I can see those icons, they look fine. No problem with that at all. But if I pull down Control Center, firstly, that's weird. Where's the rest of it? There it is. I can see everything. I can see the airplane mode. I can see my filming mode here for my focus modes. That's all pretty legible. But it's a little bit, where I've got reduced interruptions here, that looks a bit weird with that icon behind it. I do get the impression this is the absolute maximum glassiness that we're going to have from Apple on iPadOS or iOS 26. I think they will reduce this for the public version later this year. I think people are going to say, well, while they're testing these betas, they're going to say this is a bit much. It needs to be dialed back a little bit. I think you can turn it off from what I understand, but yeah, for me, it needs a little bit less, I think. But yeah, in terms of everything else, so first thing, can I change, if I go in here and go to edit, and then is it customize? Clear. Yeah, here we go. Here's the new clear version. So you have default icons, you have dark icons, which was there before. I've never liked that, to be honest. We have tinted where you can change the colour. Again, that really isn't for me. I've never understood that. Might be my age, I don't know. Now we've got this clear option, which... Why hasn't it done it? There we go. Wow, that's very glass-like, isn't it? Why is the... Brilliant. This desk has a mind of its own. Where's it going? Stop! Stop! That wasn't the thing. Oh, someone's ringing. We won't show that phone number just in case. Okay, so it's very glass-like, incredibly glass-like, and I don't like it. It's way too much. It's way too much, to be honest. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Let's come out of that. I can see why they've done it, just because it's new and it's something to show off, isn't it? But I don't like that. So let's go back to my default icons. In terms of smoothness and what's going on here, it feels okay. I'm not doing much on it at the moment, but it hasn't crashed yet, which is a good thing. Right, the big thing for me, windowing. Now, if I go into let's use my website, because that's a good bit of promotion for markellisreviews.com. If you didn't know, oh come on. Okay, this is where things don't start working. And also you can see my chat GPT. Is there anything on here that you shouldn't see? No, there's a few GPTs that we use, but you can't access them, so it doesn't matter. I think that's fine. I promise you, I'm pressing, ooh, wow, okay. Okay, I'm pressing the MER website shortcut at the top. It's not doing anything, so that's one thing that may not be working. Reviews.com, let's go there. Right, I've typed it in. Okay, this is my website. I just noticed that if I double press the top bar, or top part of the window, it windows it, which is definitely a Mac OS thing. If you double click at the top of a window, it maximizes it and does all that stuff. So that is very Mac-like. The next question I have is, can you place these windows anywhere, or do they snap into place? So if I do very minor, it can go anywhere. Thank you. That's one thing I wanted, because I know on Stage Manager, that ridiculous thing they created a couple of years ago, it kind of, you only had it didn't show you where they were, but there was clearly a grid system built into it where you could only move windows into places where Apple thought you could move them. Whereas now you can literally do them by the millimeter like that. Perfect. Yeah, that's great. That is really good news. Also, at the bottom right, we have the resize. Again, this feels very smooth. This is the M4 iPad Pro, by the way. So it's the latest one, but equally that is smooth for a beta. That's nice. And it's also worth bearing in mind, this is the 11-inch version. It's not the 13-inch. So, screen estate is at a premium, but whatever. Right, if I go into here, we've got window controls. We've got, why didn't they do this originally? All this stuff, you just start using it and you just think, this is so obvious, guys. Why did you faff around with Stage Manager and not giving us proper window stuff in iPadOS? It's just what you should have done it, but they've done it. I won't keep moaning about it because they have done it, in fairness. So at the top left now we have those very familiar red, orange, or red, amber, and green controls. So if I do that one, it minimizes it to the dock, nice. Minimizes it into the app as well, rather than a separate thing, which is good. That's my default choice for the Mac. If I go back to, so by default then, it kind of minimizes it there. But when I tap it, it gives me the controls. That works nicely. And if I do that, the green one, it full sizes it. So where do those controls go when it's like this? Can you, oh, okay. I think you pull down from the top of the, okay, that's not that intuitive. So you pull down from the top of the screen without invoking, okay. Before I show you any of this, I do need to get rid of all my notifications. There we go, gone. Let's do that again. So if I pull down from the top of the screen and let go, I get proper, I haven't got a mouse. That's one thing you don't get with this, by the way. You don't get a mouse. But my point with this is that I think we should be using our fingers with iPadOS. So that is my point. So this is a good test for the finger ability of, does that make sense? The touch ability of iPadOS 26. So we actually get a proper menu system here. File, wow, this is macOS. Look at this. This is really quite, I won't get emotional. I won't start crying, I promise. But this is just Mac OS. They're very small touch targets, I will say that. But anyway, there's the controls again. So I can do minimize. That gets me back there. Does it remember it? So if I do that and then maximize and then, ooh, where's it gone? That's not that. I'm not sure about that. Minimize again. Yes, it goes back to that. Lovely. Okay, so if I want to open another, what should I open? What can I open that I can show you that's not going to, I know, Apple Music. So it opens in full screen mode. What's it going to say to me now? Hear about new. Okay, give me. Okay, yeah. Okay, so these pop-up, these dialog boxes look okay. So this one here, where it's got the allow notifications thing, that looks all right. It's a bit translucent. I can just still see the text behind it, but not too much. It's actually very legible. I still think I'd rather have that as a solid white background personally, but that's just me. Okay, not too bad. We'll come, but in fact, Apple Music very quickly. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so at the bottom, ooh, yeah, that's a bit confusing. So I've just maximized the play thing, but I want to get back to my library. I have to very precisely grab that little white line at the top to get down like that, because if I go back into it and then do that from the top, it gives me the menu bar. In fact, it seems to favour the menu bar. It does, over Notification Center. Does that work? Yeah, it does. So you do once, let's get back. So you do it once for the menu bar and the window controls, and again to get into Notification Center. Excuse me. My voice is going. We don't cut these videos, so you will get the occasional cough from me, I'm afraid. Okay, that is fine. Happy with that. What was I doing? Okay, but in terms of the rest of the look of music, which is obviously, it's an Apple app, so they're going to spend some time on this to make it look good. What I don't like immediately, because I'm in this album art view, I do not like the fact, so when I start scrolling, you can probably see it's changing the translucency and the background color of the play control. And it's when it's like that, that is quite hard to make out what's going on. I can see the playing forward and rewind, back and forth, track selection, and that kind of makes it lighter because this needs work. This translucency is a bit much, I think. I'm glad they haven't done it over here on the left-hand side where we've got the other kind of the menu items. It's a bit much, I think. What happens when I press that? That's okay, top right. That's translucent enough, I think. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Anyway, what I was going to do is start getting some more windows on the screen. So let's pull that down. I quite like that. That does work. Let's minimize it, if that's the right word. Okay, so I've got two windows open here. I can move one. Can I move them with 2 fingers? No, you can't, can you? I've got one there. I didn't know if you could use, it's multi-touch. What would Steve Jobs say? This is multi-touch. It should accept me doing that. It doesn't. That's really interesting. So you have to move them one by one, which you do on the Mac, but you don't have two mice, whatever, on Mac OS, do you? Now, does it have window snapping? If I want to put these in on the left and the right-hand side and take up the exact same amount of screen estate, can I do that by going like that? No. So on the Mac, I use this all the time. It's an embarrassingly recent addition to Mac OS where it's got window snapping, so you can just basically move a window to the left and the right, and it snaps them in place. It creates a kind of dual window thing where you can move the size of them in the middle, and very, very useful when multitasking and referencing stuff. I use it all the time, like I say. Doesn't look like you can do that unless you can only do it with a mouse. I wouldn't have thought that's the case. I want to push that over there and have it windowed, and it's not doing that. That's annoying. So can I do that? If I long press this, oh, hang on, I saw something then. Okay, long press that, so I can do, put that on the left. Okay, that's done what I wanted it to do, but I couldn't do it by moving the window to the left and the right. So it's there, the functionality is there. Obviously it's been in there for a long time with iPadOS, but it would be nice to snap them to the side. That would be great. So I created this windowed view, which I guess if I go into Control Center, we have that there. So if I now go into, let's go into the next drive, which is my new YouTube channel, by the way. If you like your cars, you definitely want to go and check that out. We'll put a link in the description so you can do that. What's all this? Go away, YouTube. No, don't track. Okay, so let's go to let's go to the next drive YouTube channel. So we're in YouTube now, and if I go back into Control Center, yes, my windowed thing. Oh, that didn't work. That's interesting. So, it's all gone wrong. What's it done now? So so originally I had this one and this one side by side. Oh, brilliant, it's gone. I had that side by side, now it's gone. Let's try and do it again. So so that is already windowed. I can't, okay, to the right. And then this one, why can't I just do that and have it? It's really annoying. Unless YouTube doesn't window like that. No, it does. Okay, so that is now I've got that, right? Okay, I want to save that. That's annoying. I was just trying to go into, okay. Let's go back. I thought it would fill all of that. Okay, that's slightly irritating. And okay, how do I get it? How do I get it back? How do I get it back? There it is. But then I want this to be, okay, I want that there, but I want it to be windowed properly. I want it to be snapped. No. I want it to be, do that, there, and then this here. Got the control there, nice. Now, if I go into Control Center, what's that done? What does that mean? That's revealing the desktop, isn't it? But I want to go into Control Center. There we go, there's Control Center. And Again, if I go into the App Store, for instance, it's taking a long time to load. Okay, and go back to the home screen and then go like this into Control Center. There's my windowed thing. It's back. Okay, so it's a bit fiddly still, and I'm not using this. I'm trying to use it for this video. I'm demonstrating it and having a play around with it. I'm not using it in a work setting, so I'm not getting work done. I'm not being productive with it. I think when I start doing that, which I am going to do, by the way, I will talk about it more on this channel, so make sure you hit subscribe. And also I will be talking about it on the main channel, so if you haven't subscribed to that yet and you haven't found it yet, go and check out Mark Ellis reviews. I think I will be doing a lot of content on this because I do find it fascinating. But it's clearly still, I mean, why does it do that? This is the problem with touch gestures. There's so many of them, and they only have a limited, as in Apple, only has a limited way of giving you access to things with your finger on the screen. And, swiping up from the top and down, they're all doing lots of similar things. And it's easy to get into a bit of a mess. So if I go back into this, for instance, I can quite easily, or mistakenly, how did I do it? Do that. I don't know why is it doing that rather than going, or I could do that rather than going into Control Center. So that's a bit annoying, but again, this is the first beta, lots more to come, I'm sure. In terms of windowing, they can overlap. I can quickly go between them like that. I guess I can do, let's go back. I can do Alt Tab very quickly. Yeah, happy with that, that's good. Okay, that feels okay, I think, to be honest. I mean, what happens if I open loads of windows? Can I open another? Let's open, what's that done? Okay, so I've just tapped, no I haven't, I've just tapped Safari, tap it again, I can open a new tab. So if I do that, if I go to apple.com, like that, because I want to remind myself as well of what else is in iPadOS 26, because I can't quite remember. Let's go to the UK version, because I'm in the UK. There's another window there. I mean, again, this is the 11-inch iPad Pro, so you can see that screen estate is really at a premium. This is really only a screen for dual window multitasking, I think. Again, I will report back on that once I start using it. Let's go into, I mean, it hasn't crashed yet, has it? This is nice. Let's go into iPadOS 26. In fact, I'm just going to search for it. iPadOS 26. Let's have a look. What else can I do on iPadOS 26? This is the official website. New design, we've talked about that. It's okay, it needs a bit of work, I think. It needs making less translucent, in my opinion. A lot of people have said that. The lock screen looks very interesting. Okay, let me try that. I don't know if will this stop the screen recording? I think it will, won't it? Let me try that at the end. I'll try the image thing at the end. This is already a bit confusing with all these windows. Updated app icons, we've been through that. In fact, we've been through all that really. Multitasking, that's what I've been trying. And what they're showing here. Okay, what happens if I do that then? Okay, so that's quite handy. So if you have, that's annoying. If you have lots of windows open, if I do that, it kind of reveals, what's that called on the Mac? That's got a name on the Mac. I've completely forgotten what it's called. But there's a feature like that on the Mac, which this is the same. Is it expose? I think, is that how you pronounce it? I have no idea. I think that's what it is. That is actually quite useful. Okay, fine. But again, I've got to discover that. I only saw that because I'm looking at the Apple website. Window tiling. That's what I was trying to do a minute ago, which kind of worked, but kind of didn't work. Yeah, it is expose. That's what it is. The menu bar, which I didn't know existed. There. Oh, can you get that from not from the home screen, because there isn't a menu bar, but there is in any app. I do like that. The fact we have a window, a menu bar is really, really useful. Okay, what else do we get? Productivity. Oh, the Files app. Where's the Files app? Let's open that. I probably can't show you everything in here, but let me find something that I can show you. What's in my downloads? Nothing dodgy, but I promise that. But there is stuff in here which is embargoed and all that sort of thing. So I do have to be very, very careful with that. Let me just find something which I can show you without fear of ending up in court. Oh, I've just lost everything. Where's it gone? Files. Let me go into a folder which doesn't matter. This be okay? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, so this is the supercharged files app. So if I create a new folder, for instance, test folder. Now apparently I can do stuff with this. If I change the view, not that, oops, change the view, no, don't want to do that. I want to go to an icon view. I think what I can do is you can put icons and stuff on the folders, can't you? How do I do that? Customize folder and tags. Here we go. So I can put a nose on it. Why not? Oh, I can put an emoji on it. Of course you can. Let's put the monkey on there. Can I change the color? I assume I can. How do I change the color? No idea. Absolutely no idea how I do that. But I'm sure you can change the color. Press and hold. One thing, this is a public service because you could be doing this yourself on your own iPad, worrying that you're going to lose stuff, and because even public betas, but definitely developer betas, I would advise staying away from if you value your work and your iPad, because they can break very easily. So part of the reason I'm doing this is, like I say, it's a public service. You can watch me doing this. This is probably quite a long video, but you can at least get an idea of what's going on without worrying about your own iPad being screwed up. It's just mine that's going to be screwed up. Why can't I change the colour of it? I thought you could change the colour. Maybe you can't. Tags. Oh, here we go. Oh, so the tag is the colour. So if I go for orange, my favourite colour, it makes it orange. I don't think I'm ever going to use that, but it's there, isn't it? Okay, let's go back to expose. That's quite handy. Quite like that, actually. That's quite useful. Let's go back to this window and let's use the menu, the window controls again for a laugh. Ooh, that looks weird. So we can see the liquid glass in full effect here at the top. As I scroll up, you can see the content from the website is disappearing behind the top bar of Safari, and that's too much. I can still see it. It's kind of getting in the way of the controls, and it's just a bit confusing. I'd rather that just disappeared. Or if you're going to give us a little bit of translucency, make it a little bit. Anyway, productivity, there's preview now. Nice, I do like that. So if we go back into files, how do I do preview? It'd be spacebar, wouldn't it? Hang on. This is where a mouse would be quite handy, to be fair. If I do, oh yeah, space. Did it do that before? Watching my raw B-roll here, by the way. I think it did that before. Oh no, what have we done? I think it did that before. But anyway, preview being on the iPad is good news. I don't like those controls there. That's horrendous. Top right now, look at that. It's all kind of in, again, this is a beta thing, I would have thought, but yeah, top right, what a mess. Anyway, to the point where I can't even hit the close control. Doesn't work. Brilliant. Oh no, okay. Is that preview that I'm looking at here? I have no idea. It won't close. See, this is why you shouldn't install the public beta on your iPad, guys. There we go, it's gone. Okay, what else can I do to keep this video interesting? Background tasks. I don't know how to kind of demonstrate that, but you can. So heavy processing is done in the background while you do other things. I thought it did that before, but clearly the iPad hasn't been doing that. I think, yeah, thinking about it, that does make sense. It's always kind of paused things in the background, hasn't it? But it will now do stuff in the background like the Mac. Live translation, can't do anything with that at the moment. So some Apple Intelligence stuff, which, again, I can't really go into at the moment. Just because I don't know how to demonstrate it, and we are coming up to time, I think, really. Smart reminders, no idea what that is. Okay, I mean, the main thing for me was the Mac OS likeness, the Mac OS influence that they're putting into the iPad. And first impression, for however long this video has been running, this has been my first experience of iPadOS 26. Two things. Firstly, the translucency thing for liquid glass is way too much, way too much. It needs to be dialed down quite a lot. You know, that, for instance, the fact you can see and so much more still there. The fact it goes, look at that over the background of my little bookmarks. Terrible. So that needs dialing back, and I think they will dial that back. Oh, there's preview. It's there. I just noticed. There's a preview app. awesome. Not sure why it's an app on its own, but is there stuff in there you shouldn't see? Maybe we won't show them that now, but we will show them the preview app on the home screen. So that's there. So they need to dial back the glass translucency, and secondly, the windowing is still a bit ham-fisted, but it's immediately better than what we had before by quite a distance. It really is. Oh, journal! Yeah. Let me open this on my own first, because I do use journal occasionally, and I don't want you to see my journal entries, obviously, because that's private stuff. There's nothing. Is there anything in here? Before we show it, let's risk it. So there's journal on the home screen. Tap that. If it's syncing, they're not here yet. There's journal, just to prove it's there. I can create a new journal, and away we go. Fantastic. What's this thing here? Allow health access. Yeah, we need that, don't we? Turn on all allow. You don't need to see this. Choose how you're feeling right now. Brilliant. Choose how you're feeling right now. From very unpleasant to I'm feeling very pleasant. There we go. Oh, there's loads of stuff. Forget that for now. So the windowing is getting there. Much better than what we had, but I do need to use it properly. I need to use this as my Mac for a bit, which I will do and report back. But over to you guys, as always. Let me know what you think of what you've seen in this video, and equally, if you've been brave enough, and you are very brave, to install iPadOS 26, the developer beta on your own iPad. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you found. What should I try out? What have I missed in this very quick rummaging that I should be trying out? Let me know. And as always, guys, firstly, you know what to do if you haven't hit that button yet. This is a big thing for this channel. We want to get those numbers up. But also, if you've got this far in this particular video, thank you. Brilliant. I mean, so many of you watched all of that video last week where I was sat in a car, which, by the way, was the BYD. I'm going to get this wrong. I've just realised, although I did make a note of it because it's got such a long name. It was the BYD Seal U Boost Hybrid DMI. A review of that will be going on to the next drive in the coming weeks. But yeah, I was in that car driving around Warwickshire talking about WWDC, I think. So thank you for watching that one. You seem to enjoy it. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go and start using this, basically, because we have a kind of Mac OS-like iPadOS, finally. It's just a bit rough. Anyway, and go and check this out, by the way. It's really good. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.